There's a potential employment and immigration scam happening in Canada right now that at best is subverting the Canadian labor market, keeping wages low, and at worst is a total scam, absolutely undermining our immigration and our employment system as they are at the expense of Canadians and the people being brought over. So I saw these allegations happening online. I started to do some Googling. I looked up some information. What I found was scary. I think it's worth sticking around to the end of this video. You guys can take away what you will from this information, but I found some really suspicious stuff. We're going to set it up first with this Bloomberg video because this will actually put it all into context for us. Let's get into it.
Well, let's go to the employment picture. Brooke Thackeray's got some thoughts there, and why the labor picture in both Canada and the U.S. could continue to deteriorate, notwithstanding the fact, Brooke, that unemployment rates in both countries have risen over the past year or so. What are your thoughts here?
Well, they're still historically low. And even Powell yesterday was mentioning in the press conference after the interesting announcement. He's saying, look, we're looking at employment, it's historically low, but there's other factors. There's a whole bunch of other different measurements as far as measuring unemployment. Like this morning, we had initial jobless claims come out. That's an employment picture. It came out worse than expected this morning, which is affecting the markets a bit. But one of the ways I look at the labor market too is...
So keep in mind, what these guys have just opened this video saying is, the labor market is deteriorating, unemployment is increasing, and that it's, a concern that's happening right now, okay? So this is a trend. People, and you guys have talked about it in the comments, I've talked about it in other videos, a lot of Canadians are really struggling to find employment right now. It's taking them months. So remember this, because like I said, all of the research that I did and what I'm going to show after this is very important to see what these, economists are setting up here.
Because a lot of this, the numbers are getting confused with the part-time numbers of jobs. And so part-time jobs have been increasing and they get counted as part of the non-farm payroll number.
Right.
And so, the economy can be deteriorating and the numbers look okay, because part-times are going up, but that's not necessarily a good thing. And so one of the ways I like to look at it is from employment from people that are usually employed full-time and currently have jobs. What's that metric doing? So we're just looking at the full-time measurement there on a year-over-year basis. And that's actually been going down. And that's actually a signal very often that when it gets to a negative growth rate, that we are actually entering into a recession.
Okay, so here's another graph. You can see the baseline is the white horizontal line running through to the 0 point on the right-hand axis. The yellow shaded bars are periods of recession from 1990 through to the present period, and the white line, Brooke, is the rate of unemployment, correct?
For full-time? Full-time employment, usually work full-time. That's what it is. And
okay, again, full-time employment. You guys should be able to see it here. There's just under my picture there, there's just a little bit of a dip in the graph. But right there, we can see a downward trend of full-time employment in Canada, which means we have more job seekers now in Canada. This is huge. Remember, again, because we're going to talk about this very strange stuff that's going on. Because if this is the case, and unemployment is growing and people being employed is shrinking, we shouldn't have the problem that we have, which we'll get into. Again, we'll let these guys finish it up because I want all of the context there to go when we talk about this.
We go back and we look at 1990, that yellow bar there. You can see when the employment went to zero, so on a year-over-year basis, and then we entered into a recession. That happened again in 2001. It happened again in 2008 as well. And then with COVID, it was so fast. But here we are. We've now crossed that zero line again. And we haven't entered into a recession. I mean, maybe it's because we've been whipped around because of the COVID numbers, but this is usually a sign that a recession is imminent when we're seeing employment actually decrease for full-time employees.
Full-time employment. Do you think that's the case? Do you think it sounds like you do not accept the so-called soft landing scenario that many investors are embracing right now?
I know that's the majority is the soft landing. I think that the numbers, the interest rate hikes that we've seen over the last couple of years are actually still working their way through the system. There's a lag, and I think it's inevitable.
So he does make some claims there about that we're going to end up in a recession and things are going to crash. That's not what we're talking about today. What the important stuff is, we've been counting part-time jobs towards our employment numbers, but the actual numbers have been falling. So here's what I found really interesting. Right here, and stick with me, I promise you this is strange and weird. I promise you it's worth sticking around. So what we've been seeing an increase in and a strange trend is what's called a labor market impact assessment. You've seen it probably online as an LMIA. And what that is it's a document that an employer in Canada may need to get before hiring a foreign worker. A positive LMIA will show that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job. It also will show that no Canadian worker or PR is available to do the job. A positive LMIA is sometimes called a confirmation letter, okay? I wanted everybody to know what this is. So the requirements are there's no Canadian workers or PRs who can fill this role. You can now bring in a temporary foreign worker and they can work for you, likely at reduced wages because you're bringing in a foreign worker, but this is a role being filled by somebody outside of Canada. So unemployment is increasing. We have Canadians who are constantly saying they can't find jobs within months and all of these things. So I was Googling into this LMIA and I'm going, what is this? So I'm wanting to learn all about it. This tweet comes up from Riley Donovan. Struggling to find a job? Someone created a map of every employer who's been issuing positive LMIA assessments because they couldn't find Canadians. Now remember, hey, did you like the video yet? If you haven't, please like the video. It helps the video get shown to more people. If you like what we're talking about, you want to hang out for more videos, please subscribe. Love to have you on board. Let's get back to it. Foreign workers for because we do not have the specialized certified Canadians to fill the role. Okay, so I said, I'm going to look at this map and see what it is. So whoever did this map, shout out to you. It is just so the actual website, I'll link it in the video actually, but it's called LMIAmap.com. If you take a look, you have this map of all of these proposals that have been done. And so I started to look up some of these companies because some of the names were weird, just Stark Group, never heard of them. Cinnamon Kitchen, never heard of them. So I'm going through Omcar Restaurants. Okay, so they need cooks and food service supervisors. We need international cooks and food service supervisors. That's strange, right? So I start looking up some of these companies I'm going through. Interesting, of course, you go down to Brampton and, we've got Bradford. Brampton in particular, which you guys should be able to see, had the highest amount that I saw. Obviously, I didn't count them individually, but it scrolled the longest out of every city. Dr. Ramadan El Suji medicine professional, nurses, aides, orderlies, patient service associates. Like, again, do we not have Canadians for any of these roles? JVS electrical contractors, accounting technicians. You're telling me that there's not a Canadian accounting technician who could get hired there? Like, it was all really strange. So what I did, so then I looked at why the LMIA processing fee. I was like, what does this actually take for a company to do? Because the big allegations that I saw, which led to me looking into this, was companies are selling these assessments to foreigners saying, hey, you pay me $10,000, you can come work for my company under an LMIA assessment. Now, these are all allegations, and I am not an investigative journalist. This was just me Googling. All of this information is public. Everything we are going over is public information that I found on Google. I did not have to do any private searching. So what we've got here is a processing fee of $1,000 for each position requested, and allegations that these positions are being sold for $10,000, $3,000. I've seen numbers alleged online as high as $40,000 that people are selling these LMIAs for. So, what are these companies? I started to look them up. One of the ones listed was the Maruti Empire, okay? I'm going, what is this? The Maruti Empire, they need all of this stuff. What do they need to hire for? KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Subway, Esso gas stations, hotels. So for regular customer service workers, which as we know, it's very rare these days to just have a conversation with a Canadian-born customer service worker, you need to bring in foreign workers for this. And why this is such a huge deal is this is wage suppression in real time. And now I'm not saying this company is doing this. I'm just saying, because everything I'm saying today is just strange information I found, no allegations. But the principles of hiring foreign workers to staff your company means you're able to keep wages low. We can't find Canadians who want to do it. No, you're not willing to pay wages that Canadians are willing to work for and Canadians who want to do it. But on top of that, why are all these high school kids not able to get jobs? Because these roles are being filled by temporary foreign workers. So you got their management team. Oh, here's their great team from Maruti Empire who needed to bring over a bunch of international workers here. Okay, sure. And again, Not accusing them of abusing the system. They currently, with this public information, have active LMIAs open for food service workers and other positions within their company. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Stay Home Forever, another company, coincidentally has active. They're saying they cannot find any Canadians who want to work for their company. Again, relatively strange, right? So, here's their management team. We got the management team at Stay Forever Home. Okay, strange. Again, so these guys weren't even the strangest ones. Those first two that I showed you actually looked like professional companies. Like, these look like real businesses that need employees. These guys aren't the ones who I'd say, first of all, I got no idea what they're doing. I'm not making any allegations or any claims. They do look like legitimate businesses that are operating. However, I did find it interesting that they weren't able to find Canadians and had to bring in temporary foreign workers. That's all I'll say about those. These other companies, however, this one in particular, search engine optimization company with a website I had to look for. It was hard to find their actual website. It's called Omega Tech Source, random bad name of a company. No offense, guys. And so I'm going through, and these guys have the worst, most basic website with, we design, build, support, improve comprehensive range of IT information technology. But then when I looked into their services is SEO. And I'm going, well, that's not IT, technology. Like, you're just gonna do an SEO as marketing, right? So it's like, this website doesn't even make sense, but these guys have LMIAs open for that as well, which I was like, okay, I don't know anything about these companies. Again, public information, these are all posted, but I just found it strange that this company was not able to find any Canadians to help work for them, and they needed to bring in temporary foreign workers. And so I looked up Harihar Holdings Inc. because I'm going, who are these companies? I'm looking them up. They don't even have corporate websites, but the best I could find for these guys is that they are a gas station company out of Brampton. And again, for some reason, we can't find local Canadians to work at a gas station. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on because, yes, it was just strange. And again, no allegations against any of these companies. I'm just going through the public information that is available. Here was some of the positions I was able to find, because to prove your LMIA, you have to post on public job postings, and this is on Indeed. And we have, gas station supervisor. Yeah, you're not able to find a Canadian for that, I'm sure. Harihar Holdings Inc. in the name there, but then Pizzaville, okay? Another one, which I found strange, was this company. It's called Pizzaville. Okay, so this is the Pizzaville passport. How ironic. How ironic is that they offer a Pizzaville passport as they have LMIAs open to bring in international workers to come and work for them, because of course there is nobody who can work for Pizzaville in Canada as Canadians, young Canadians in particular, but also working age adults who are not able to find roles. Strange stuff that you do need to stick around for. And this was the weirdest one. So in all of these companies, one of the names that stood out to me was called the Glorious Future Incorporation. What the hell is that? Weirdest name ever, the Glorious Future Incorporation. And I'm going, that's strange. Why would you name your company something like that? So I'm doing all this Googling to try and I'm trying to find their corporate website. I can't find it, but what I can find is their job postings with no corporate website. And so I'm looking up these job postings, insurance agent. Well, an insurance agent, you have to be licensed in Canada to be an insurance agent. You can't be a foreign insurance agent and then come to Canada. You have to come to Canada and then get licensed here. So I'm saying that doesn't make any sense that the Glorious Future Incorporation has an LMIA job in Canada out of Brampton, a marketing coordinator, an investment analyst, an insurance agent, again, office administrator, all of these things. So in a job market that's falling, we have unemployment rising, and you're telling me the Glorious Future Incorporation, again, weird name, is not able to fill any of these roles. Look at this. This is dozens of roles. So I am not saying that this company is doing this. However, what I am saying is when you have allegations floating around that these companies are selling their LMIAs to foreign people to skip the line and become front of the line oh, you don't have to go through our normal PR process. You can just get working here, pay us 10 grand. We can do that. I don't know anything about this company. So if you guys know or have any connection with, I don't know, Lauren Southern or Harrison Faulkner or any of the other Canadian investigative journalists that might want to look into this, I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy who yells on the internet. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just found this crazy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you made it this far, you rock, and have a great rest of your day.